I was really clear that I didn't know enough to do what I wanted to do, which was create a food forest at this piece of land in Mangawhai. And the first person I thought to call was you, Arthur. Yeah, I'm sitting here now, like over a year later, feeling really grateful for how that whole process unfolded.
I've done a lot of personal research and a lot of learning about food forests and syntropy and plants over the years of running my nursery and just planting things on the land here and experimenting. But I haven't done a lot of teaching, and so that was quite a scary step to take. But over the course of these workshops that we've been doing over the last year and into the second season now, I have really, really come to love it and to love sharing that with other people as opposed to just doing my own thing on hermiting on the land here. And yeah, having a team to take those steps with has been really, really helpful for me. Yeah, I really love the package that we're delivering, and I'm really enjoying teaching these workshops and seeing what people get out of it, seeing the installs that we've done, seeing where we're going to go with it next. It's really exciting for me.
You said that you had this idea, James. It was an instant yes. I was just like plants, succession, ecological literacy, productivity, connect like humans rooting back into Gaia and actually like feeding themselves, working together, feeding community. It's just so juicy and it has so many threads going in so many different directions that I couldn't not be involved.
This was part of the first training day. Then later we had to add more bales of hay because the grass was starting to come through. And just before the planting, I dug a hole to see what was actually under there. Yuck! Was not pretty. So I put in another row further up, just with the rotary hoe.
Here we are. This is the summary of all the prep we've done since April. Ready for planting day tomorrow. I feel very glad about this.
We had 15 people at the planting day, and we fed them well and we worked hard. I'd been going through the beds in the days leading up to the event, and this was super helpful in breaking the soil down deep to let the roots get down. Then we added soil across the beds because really the clay that we were working with is pretty rough and raw, and I think it made a big difference to how this project has unfolded. The strata and time stakes gave us an idea of the spread of the bigger and longer term species that we would put into the system. This shows the density that we put into these rows, and it's a key part of syntropic agroforestry. And I believe that it's a significant factor in how well it's done. And then it came time to putting on the mulch once everything was planted. Then I put Arthur on the spot and asked him to identify all the 100 plants in the top row.
To start with, pineapple sage, which is a shrub, probably short term. We have a plum omega in the high strata. That's a longer term species. We have a short term emergent eucalypt. We have a short term mountain papaya, which is probably in the high layer. We have dwarf cardamom, which is a low strata. Tamarillo, which is a medium-high strata short term. We have a inga bean or ice cream bean, which is a long-term emergent. We have some kind of annual flower. What's that? Marigold? Marigold?
Yeah.
We have mulberry, which can be an emergent, but in the purposes here, we're going to keep it small, so it's going to be a longer term shrub layer. We have willow, which is a medium to high layer. We have another eucalypt. We have faux, which is a drop and drop, low to medium, I'm going to say, tolerant of a bit more shade. We have arrowroot, which is low to medium strata. We have more dwarf cardamom, comfrey, low strata. We have what's this one? A plum, again that fruit tree canopy layer. Alpine strawberry, low strata ground cover. We have some kind of papaya, more dwarf cardamom, eucalypts, willows, cherry guava, which is in that shrub medium canopy, and more faux, more arrowroot, more comfrey, Japanese raisin tree, which is the long-term emergent, dwarf cardamom, Okinawa spinach, which is a ground cover, edible leafy green, marigolds, tamarillos, tomatoes, willows, eucalypt, willows. That looks like a boysenberry or a raspberry. And we're going to do the whole row. We might just be going to names now, because so plum, ricotta chili, tomato, eucalypt, cherry guava, papaya, the Abyssinian banana, alpine strawberry, ingerbean. That one, yeah, again the emergent, our long-term emergent. We have comfrey, tamarillo, dwarf cardamom, papaya, eucalypt, willow, alpine strawberry, willow, repeating, faux, mahoe. That's probably a medium-high, longer-term species. And yakon, another one in there. I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah.
Just over 100. Thank you. So, for many years now, I've been watching the rare breed of first-time buyers becoming extinct, as in watching my children not be able to find the funds for the traditional modern culture, buy yourself a house. And so from that sadness, from my feelings about that, I was thinking of reflecting on what can we do differently. And then that's when James and I talked about the possibility of land share, so that the people with land who are getting more aged and less physically able could have the youth and the people who didn't have the financial funds and investment, and marry them together, bring them together. So that's when James and I went around the country alongside the Roots So Deep film. We were offering the land share, fireside conversations about land share.
Along the way, Janet and I also talked about what are the principles that make it work, because collaboration can often start with a hiss and a roar and a lot of enthusiasm, and then something happens, and it's always a human something where it ends up exploding because misunderstandings, poor communication and so forth. For collaboration to last, it needs to have shared intention, clear agreements, good communication processes that everybody understands, and communication skills.
Then we woke up one morning and I said, James, do you realise we're actually land sharing? And we both went, oh, we're doing it.
Here we are in the middle of the nature school food forest in Mangawhai that we planted exactly 3 months ago. And I didn't expect this. It has absolutely astounded me how much growth has happened in 3 months.
And there's something awesome about syntropy and the speed at which plants grow when they're nested together like that, that you can go out there every day and look and see changes and see growth. My systems are a lot bigger now, so I don't get around it all, but I remember in the early days going out every day just to see what had changed and what had grown, see like the new few leaves that had popped out on this plant or the new flowers that started on this one. When you've got a system that's really ticking along, those changes come so thick and fast that every day is like exciting and a new experience.
"4 months and a week." And the results speak for themselves. What a phenomenal amount of growth. It's so dense that even I'm having trouble remembering what the pattern is. It's in that chaotic growth stage where the main goal, it feels like it is to flip the soil from a grassland, flip it into a forest. Because we've done such an amazing job here of getting all the trees up and getting that density, that really, really important density, we're going to cruise straight through that stage. It's a process that you can do just with the plants themselves, but if you look at the wood chips that are here, that we've laid down, and you think about this eucalypt here, how long it's going to take before we get that amount of biomass, it's a great kickstart. You can do it just with the trees themselves, and there are other benefits that the trees bring that the wood chip doesn't, in terms of that mycorrhizal fungi and other soil organisms getting sugar from the trees, but the wood chips is just a great head start. There's hardly anything that's struggled by, from what I'm looking at here, which is really cool, and I think that speaks to the prep that went in first. To clarify, the eucalypts we put in were about this tall, weren't they?
Yes,
and
that's right.
So they've grown that much. So eucalypts already above head height on the row, arrowroot the same, and fodder willows. This has been a big surprise for me, that the fodder willows have not only grown way taller than the eucalypts, they are, and the biomass that's on them, there's a whole nother stem all over here. The amount of biomass is bigger as well. So every site's different, every site responds to different plants, so it's great to have that diversity.
This is the bottom row, Tithonia on the right, the support species, and this left-hand row is the one that we thought, well, maybe it'll do okay, maybe it won't, but we'll just put a few plants in there and see what happens. Well, this is what happened. So it's very leafy stuff. This is going to be very exposed to the strong winds coming through. So let's see how it does. We'll know by the end of the day on Sunday how it's fared. And then this is one of the full tree rows that has a tremendous amount of diversity in it. And some very tall plants in here, which, like this willow here, for example, yeah, it's hard to see the scale, but trust me, that's well up there. And this eucalypt down the end here, and here's Melissa tying up some plants in preparation. And the top row, which I trimmed some of this banana grass back a few weeks ago, and it's nearly back to its original height. And behind there are all manner of fruiting trees and shrubs. And there's our top row.
We're
we've doubled the number of workshops, and we've tripled the number of installations.
I really like this new focus we're bringing as well about really empowering people to put their own systems in. It's one thing to go to a workshop and learn a bunch of theory and take it in as an intellectual exercise, and all that's very interesting. But it's another thing to actually have some practical steps, or even just your next first step, to go out and put some pegs in the ground, put some plants in the ground, mow the grass, mulch up the grass, just something to get your process started to actually, start your food forest off.